go to their Discord. Links are posted. Blah blah blah. But Zoom now has, when we start recording, it's a scary female voice for you all, right?
Yes, she goes, the session is now being recorded.
And it is frightening when you don't get an email about it to warn you that there's now a voice.
Hello, I am your new voice assistant for Zoom services. Death to humans. What was that?
Did I say that?
Your system is now being recorded. Oh, that's better.
Anyway, welcome, Robot Lady. You're a glad addition to the show.
The fifth member, since codename Geronimo is no longer with us. I guess fifth member, right? The fourth werewolf.
The werewolf.
The fourth werewolf.
Yes.
Fourth wolf.
Because me, you, Nate.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Holy Ghost.
The Holy Ghost.
The Holy Ghost. Of course, the unholy ghost. That's 5.
Yep.
Gleep Stork.
Yep. Gleep Stork is the 6th. Truly.
The
radar is its own entity.
7. General staff and what do you call them? Like assistants. A PA. We have that PA. Tyler. There's like 16 staff, I think, down here in the bunker.
Right. Peons, I guess you
peons
were looking for.
The
Some
head
other podcast we call them.
The giant head.
Giant head is 17 for sure. Solid 17.
So I guess the 18th member
is
but glad
Zoom
to have you.
Yes.
Zoom voice Terminator.
Glad to have you, Zoom voice Terminator. Destroy all humans. We agree. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Balding.
And I am Roger Norquist.
And today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco brand hand vaporizer. Tired of sanitizing? Vaporize. Pussy? Monstroco. What the fuck? So, I mean, I guess they have a point. It seems to happen fast. You kind of just dunk your hands in. I don't know if it works on other body parts, but it's kind of, I think maybe they're just selling us Monstroco brand limb solvent in a different can, but it works.
I mean, there is a fill line for it that's exactly wrist deep. So
yeah. And as
I
far
think that's the only way that it becomes hand vaporizer.
As far as quickly getting rid of a limb or a hand or a foot or something, nobody's doing it like Monstroco. That stuff is great. You pour it down the sink, get rid of it, all the hand mush in there.
Well, and this doesn't even, I guess it's a step up from the solvent because there's no hand mush. It's vaporized.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting point. I do see now the smoke coming off of the vat in the ad. Interesting. So some kind of hand vapor.
Maybe put on a robot hand. Maybe it opens a door.
No, if I'm going to vaporize these hands, it's for the purposes of sanitation. I'm better off without them. Unless you can give me robot hands that periodically throughout the day, like flash hotter than the surface of the sun and like burn all the germs off them,
So just briefly turn everyone into a shadow on a wall.
I was thinking more localized, but yeah, I guess there would be some kinks to work out. You're taking a leak or something.
I've done it again.
Oh, that's another dick. And then you got to buy another
Monstroco dick.
Another Monstroco brand metal robot dick. And then that also periodically flashes hotter than the surface of the sun, which burns the hands off. And then they sell you another set of hands, and around and around we go.
I'm just picturing a far-flung future where there's an area where these body parts, once the original owner has been completely vaporized, just sit, and they've been flashing, destroying whatever gets within 100 feet or whatever for thousands of years.
Oh, good God.
And then they, some once the battery dies, some people find them, and it's just this clunky pile of what they would think are the bones of a Monstroco brand human.
Truth. Man. Always check the bones if you think you have a counterfeit Monstroko brand. There will be a barcode right on the scapula. Well, speaking of thousands of years into the future, can I tell you guys about thousands of years into the past?
Yeah, after I tell you
sure.
what I was looking up while looking up some just weird paranormal facts. Apparently D&D Beyond is selling a Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft planchette for your Ouija board.
Fuck. God, they're gonna get me to buy that stupid book.
Anyway, go on. Yeah, that was all like, oh, we might need a planchette from D&D to summon the dead.
I never thought I did, but I kind of just wanted around the house, you know? Anyway,
1,000 years in the past.
I want to take you guys thousands of years into the past with you. Travel with me. Wait, with me. I want you to travel with me. Oh. Shut up. Everyone shut up. Here's a fact that I didn't know, that I just learned, that freaked my bean. What y'all know about King Tut's dagger?
Nothing.
Very little.
I know about King Tut's family. I know that they were a unique set of outcasts religiously from the rest of the pharaohs.
Interesting.
I know nothing about
Steve
his
Martin's
dagger.
Pocket knife.
Well, here's something that you might not have known. Tutankhamun's iron dagger is an iron dagger originally discovered in 1925 in Tutankhamun's 14th century BC Kings Valley tomb by archaeologist Howard Carter. The dagger is of meteorite origin.
Okay.
That's right.
That's a lot weirder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was.
King Tut's dagger that he was buried with
is made of star metal.
Is from space, you guys. Since the 1960s, the high nickel content in the blade has been accepted as indicative of meteoric origin. A more recent study published in June 2016 derived from X-ray fluorescent spectrometer. I mean, that's a big word. I'm on board.
Yep.
X-ray fluorescent spectrometer analysis show that the blade's composition is mostly iron and 11% nickel. This means its composition is placed within the median of a group of 76 previously discovered iron meteorites. So that's crazy. They have determined that indeed, at the very least, the metal for the blade of Tutankhamun's dagger is fucking sky metal, y'all. This was a gift from the gods.
Wow. And you said that this is in keeping with the type of metal from 76 other meteorites?
Yeah, well, in the median group of 76 other previously discovered meteorites. So basically, with one meteorite having much less than that and one meteorite having much more than that, this one is smack in the middle. It's right, like this is kind of the most meteorite you can get. Okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean that King Tut was gifted this dagger from an extraterrestrial being who, taught him and schooled him in the ways of star reading and things of this nature.
Yeah, no, I think that's ridiculous. We know that King Tut was a feeble child and not long for this world. I think what it means really is that someone in Egypt was an alien in hiding who knew how to work the star metal and built a beautiful ritual piece for King Tut.
It doesn't not mean that. And it does. There is an interesting thing. This was in what would be considered the Bronze Age. So nobody was working iron at this time. Like they were.
They didn't have the ability to even heat anything that hot.
They were doing it in the rare cases that you would find fully formed lumps and from meteorites. There are other examples of using star metal, iron from meteorites to create. There's a Buddha statue, I think, that was created out of meteorite metal. There's several beads, Egyptian beads specifically, that were thought to be star metal. But that's not what we're necessarily talking about today. This led me down a path, and I tried as best I could to. I found an article of several other very strange artifacts that we actually have our hands on. These are artifacts that are technically in museums. You can go and see these things. They're not. There's a term that's thrown around called parts, which is out of place artifacts. This is not necessarily that, but if that's your jam, yeah. These are other weird artifacts. Let's call this artifact check, huh? Probably
solid.
We're going to be playing it pretty loose with the facts, if I had to guess, from factinate.com. Number 22. That's right. It's another edition of Jordan Reads You a List. Number 22, everybody's favorite, the Antikythera mechanism. Y'all know this shit?
Yeah, we did a thing about it. They solved it. They're printing it right now to build it again.
Discovered in an undersea shipwreck. I think they have built it again at this point. Discovered in an undersea shipwreck in 1902, the Antikythera mechanism is truly a one-of-a-kind discovery. Dismissed by scholars initially, it is only since the 1970s that technology has allowed archaeologists to appreciate the mechanism. Using precise clockwork technology, the Antikythera mechanism tracked the cycles of several planets and stars, offering precise astronomical and chronological details. Very useful for navigation, but far beyond anything we were aware that the Greeks were capable of.
And they did all that figuring out thinking that the Earth was the center of the universe. So all their math is insane for the gearing of it. Like, it makes no sense to what we know, but it did it for all intents and purposes. It's a navigational tool.
Next up, the Codex Gigas. You guys know this?
The Book of Giants?
The Codex Gigas.
The giant book?
It has been called the world's most evil book, a medieval Bible emblazoned with a massive image of the devil. According to legend, the Codex Gigas was written by a monk who had promised to complete the Bible in a single night or face execution. Such works, some say, could only have been done with the help of Satan himself. It sounds dubious, but some experts say the Codex was written by a single hand, and at 620 pages would have taken 5 years of non-stop writing. None of the changes in handwriting are associated with age.
This is the same thing people say about Dolly Parton writing 2 #1 hits in the same night.
Well, the devil helped me do it.
I remember this book. I've seen it on a few like haunted artifacts or bizarre artifacts. Like it's the first page of it is like a giant picture of the devil, right?
Oh yeah. It is it's specifically, well, it's like I think it's a middle page. I think it's kind of the centerfold. But that's what it's known for. Baghdad batteries. We all know and love these.
Oh,
in Iraq. Picture this, Iraq, 1938, Wilhelm Koenig discovers an interesting clay pot. Inside was an iron rod and a copper sheath. In a copper sheath, some wires, and the residue from an acidic solution. It was hard for him to believe the ancient Mesopotamians could have such technology, but he believed these materials together were meant to produce an electric charge? Archaeologists remain puzzled as to just what the Baghdad batteries were for. Their best guess is electroplating metals.
Yes.
But other possibilities ranging from medicine to ritual magic have been suggested.
It could have been both. I believe the electroplating, because I've seen that happen. I know how it works. Very possible to make some small stuff shiny.
Me a really easy version of how it works? Because I don't get it.
Okay, so you have your 2 metals. I believe it's zinc and nickel.
I've got some electric.
No, you don't yet. And then you put the sheathing in between the 2.
Oh.
And then your acid. And then that wire, that's getting electroplated. Like you're moving atoms from the nickel or the zinc or whatever metal you're using into that wire. And then from that, they would make necklaces and stuff like that, bands, stuff, shiny metal jewelry.
Pretty cool.
But because of that, I could totally see Egyptians going, well, if it's doing this to metal, if we drink it, it should surely cure our ails.
No. This was in Iraq.
Yeah.
That Egyptian is way off course.
Listen, he came back from the Arabian Peninsula.
I've walked far in life. wide, looking to eat some battery.
But for sure, electroplating jewelry,
Yeah.
I could see it for medical purposes.
Number 19, the Roman dodecahedrons. These strange items have been found scattered across the Roman Empire and Central Europe. They are hollow with holes on each side and round knobs at every corner. They come in various sizes. The sheer number of them and their widespread use suggests they were mass-produced and possibly used by people who traveled a lot. But just what were they for? Nobody will ever know.
Dodecahedrons?
I think if you collect enough of them, you can get a new skin for Kratos.
They look like dice.
That's what I was thinking of. The 20-sided dice. Were they playing D&D? Some early.
They fully look like D12s. This one looks like a D20. Interesting. Yeah, maybe they were just game dice. Number 18, the Ulfbert sword. Y'all heard about this?
I do know about this. Go on.
Y'all fuck with Ulfbert? They're like something out of Game of Thrones, a set of mysterious and mysteriously strong Viking swords, inscribed with the word Ulfbert. With over 170 of the swords in existence. Oh wait, I thought it was just a pair. Oh, a set. And dating over a span of 200 years, it seems likely that Ulfbert was a brand rather than a single maker. But what is most surprising is the quality of the metal.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever Ulfbert was, he or they knew how to make crucible steel so pure it wouldn't be replicated again until the Industrial Revolution.
Mm-hmm. Ulfbert was the Cutco of the Viking era. Like swords that could cut through chicken and your shoe. Like it could go through whatever you needed, baby.
Fuck yeah. Ulfbert was going from fucking Hamlet to Hamlet. Just like, I cut through chicken. Yeah. I cut through goat. Yeah. I cut through daughter. Yeah. I cut through books. Yeah.
What's the Japanese sword that it's equivalent? The Masamura?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Masamura. The same thing. Just like some company or dude just is like, nah, I figured out this steel situation. Check this out.
Some nasty motherfucker came out of the woods with the truth. Crazy. I want an Ulfbert. Number 7. That seems like the type of thing that you could. Oh boy, like you remember The Last Man on Earth, that show that with
Kristen Shaw?
Yeah, and that SNL guy who rules.
Kristen Shaw?
Yes.
Will Ford, I think.
Will Forte, yeah. He at one point, like, it shows him living in the after times, and he's just like gotten a Porsche and a Van Gogh is hanging on his wall. This is like one of the things that I would get almost immediately. Like, I'm gonna go get one of those Ulfbert swords. That'd be rad.
Where are you gonna get it? I don't know. I got a lot of free time now. I don't gotta go to work.
They're in museums.
Do you think they come in pairs because one's the Ulfbert and one's the Ulfernie?
Oh, well, number 17. In the 17th century, this is witch bottles. In the 17th century, few things worried the English more than witches.
Except their bottles.
Witches bore the brunt of the blame for everything from poor crops to ill health, and so they would combat witches through magic of their own. The only way to prevent yourself from suffering at the hands of a witch was the witch bottle, a small clay bottle filled with nails, hair, fingernails, so like actual nails, like hammer and nails,
Yep.
Some of your hair, fingernails, and you guessed it, piss.
It seems like it's witchcraft.
And then you bury that.
It specifically is witchcraft. It's, if you go back a few months, we talked about the making of witch balls. The exact same thing.
Exact same thing. Protection, ward, if you will. And then you bury that near the witch's home. So yeah, this is fighting fire with fire. Archaeologists have found several of these bottles all over England and even a few in the United States. I remember there was a witch bottle that they found on Antiques Roadshow, and the guy took a little bit of the liquid out of it, swirled it around, and tasted it.
Oh, well, he definitely tasted dirty piss.
Is old witch piss. Okay. Number 16, the Ubaid Lizard Man. I'd never heard of this one. This is very cool. You see these pictures a lot of these statuettes, but, well, I'll read. For almost 100 years now, archaeologists at a site just west of Ur in southern Iraq have been uncovering mysterious 7,000-year-old statues of men, women, and women.
Men, women, and women.
That is exactly what it says here. Of men, women, and women holding babies, all with a strange mixture of human and reptile characteristics. While many gods of Mesopotamia had hybrid human and animal characteristics, there's nothing to suggest these statues, which have long snouts and almond-shaped eyes, were ritualistic figurines.
Because they're real pieces for your dodecahedron games.
Real pieces! Real pieces!
Mystery solved. Werewolf Radar.
This is I actually dug a little bit on this Ubaid lizard people thing because it's really interesting to me. And some of the figurines were found to hold a staff or a scepter, possibly as a symbol of justice or ruling. Each figurine has a different pose, but the strangest of all is that some female figurines hold babies suckling milk, with the child also represented as a lizard-type creature.
Sure, lizards need milk too. Everyone likes milk.
LLM. Anyway, that one's really interesting to me. We might have to do a little bit of a deep dive on the Ubaid lizard men. Next up, the Voynich manuscript. You'll know it. You'll love it. For years, scholars have puzzled over the Voynich manuscript.
Dude,
a 15th
I love this.
century manuscript written in an unbreakable code filled with mysterious drawings of plants. Researchers are still trying to piece together the code, and they have no idea who the writer or writers were. Or what led them to make such a book. It's full of just like nonsense and like plants that grow babies and like fucking gibberish. It's
the
crazy.
Best deciphering methodology that we have to date is that the writer possibly used a codex that was, you had like a sheet of paper and 3 holes in it.
Whoa.
And then you just move that sheet of paper randomly
Wow. So
on
wild.
on your own alphabet to make it look like its own fluid language.
That's so crazy. Next up, the Maine Penny, 1957. A Guy Melgren, in fact,
A guy by the name of Guy
found an unusual object near Blue Hill, Maine. A Viking coin.
Oh, yes.
The coin itself is not so unusual. The Smithsonian Institute confirms it is a real Viking coin, going so far as to call it the only pre-Columbian Norse artifact ever found in the United States. That's from the Smithsonian. And there lies the mystery. There is no definitive evidence that the Vikings ever traveled further southwest than Newfoundland. Could the coin be passed hand to hand by First Nations and Native American traders? That seems the only reasonable possibility. There were 30,000 Native American artifacts found at the Blue Hill site, but only one Viking penny.
That is my belief.
All that far-fetched, yeah.
Truly.
Because like I would do it. Here's something random.
Yeah.
I will trick you with this stupid thing. You hear this is new to you. Now give me some food.
Interesting fact about a Viking penny, it's a much rounder than you would think. It's kind of almost like they made a clay marble and just kind of lightly pressed it. It's a real chonker, more of a bead than anything. Number 13, the bog bodies. Almost a dozen so-called bog bodies have been pulled from bogs across Western Europe. Dating to the Iron Age, the eerily well-preserved bodies are often dissected or have leather ropes drawn tight around their necks and arms, suggesting a particularly violent end. Other times, they are accompanied by tools, weapons, and even food. No matter the confusing nature of the burials, archaeologists generally believe the bog bodies were victims, participants in ritual sacrifice.
That one always just gives me such an eerie feeling.
Yeah, bogging it out.
Yeah, like they're gonna, and it's because I've been playing a little bit of Valheim, you know, staying in the swamps, but them bog bodies, man, they don't need to swim. They'll just walk right up to the shore and grab your feet.
Yep.
Number 12, the Awid aluminum artifact.
Nothing about this.
In 1974, a wedge-shaped object was found under 35 feet of sand alongside 2 mastodon bones. The proximity to mastodon bones suggests the object is 11,000 years old. But when scientists studied the metal object further, they made a shocking discovery. It was made of aluminum, a metal not discovered until 1808.
Weird.
I mean, I suppose it's possible that there was
Just
some
pure
kind of-
aluminum.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
could
guess
be
so.
just like some dude had pure aluminum, got super lucky, found it, was able to fashion it, try to hunt some
guess so.
mastodons, and now I'm all buried together.
Although it's funnier to me to think of somebody was trying to like use an aluminum pole to like just they dug down deep enough that it would have been 11,000 years. Then it like got blown over or something. Just happened to be right between two mastodons.
Okay, fair enough. Number 11, the Winnipesaukee Stone. Uncovered by workers near Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire in 1872, this egg-shaped object has been a source of speculation for over 100 years now. Covered with abstract designs in different styles, but with a focal point that is very clearly a human face. It was originally suggested that the stone was meant to commemorate a peace treaty between the Native American tribes. Most researchers remain skeptical, however, and search for its real meaning continues. That one sucks. Number
That
10.
one does seem like it's going to be a good peace treaty. Be like, we made you, skull.
Number 10, the Calixthl, boy, the Calixthlhuaca head. The Calixthlhuaca head. The Takashic head looks like any normal bit of classical sculpture. It is made of stone with distinctly Hellenistic features and in a Roman style. But scientists have dated it back to antiquity, possibly as early as the 9th century BC. But when archaeologist Jose Garcia Peon discovered this statue fragment in Calixthlhuaca, it was in a burial ground near Mexico City. Dating back to only 1476, 1510. Pretty
Well,
weird.
that's before they really would have done a lot of, I guess, sculpting of European features. That's like the Olmec heads. We're like, why are you drawing these features? What people live here?
Number 9, the Copper Scroll. It took researchers years to figure out just how to read the Copper Scroll, a series of tightly wound copper plates found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. When they did, by cutting it in half, they were shocked to find a list of treasures buried throughout the Holy Land. The descriptions of these sites were incredibly specific, too. Too specific to ever be found. One reads, in the gutter at the bottom of the rainwater tank. Another, the water conduit of the northern reservoir. Crazy.
I mean, I want those to be a prank so badly.
Yeah.
It's like these ancient people's going, let's fucking make up a map, man.
Tell us where all of your treasures are. Number 8, the Sangqingdui carvings. Very little is known about China's ancient Sangqingdui culture, and their impact on China's artistic evolution was largely unrecognized until 1986, when archaeologists found a horde of figurines, carvings, and bells. The sculptures were cast in jade and ceramic, as well as some very advanced bronze, with an aesthetic that calls to mind the art of the Aztecs. Mysteriously, many of the ceramic figures found at the site had been deliberately smashed or defaced.
Like smashed when they were stored, do they think, or just smashed as people found them?
Well, the world may never know.
I mean,
when they found
deliberately,
them, they were deliberately smashed up.
They did that with King Tut statues. His mom's, I forgot her name, Nefertiti.
Yeah,
Mom Tut. Mrs. Tut.
Mom Tut and Dad Tut. Like the rest of the statues were somewhat good, but like they defaced the face of it because ancient cultures really thought that like the face was the soul of the statue, and you got rid of that, you destroyed the soul.
Did you know that he didn't have a dad? He had 2 mummies. Okay, number 7, a Sri Lankan meteorite. When a meteorite struck Sri Lanka in 2012, scientists discovered something unusual about it. Embedded in the rock were fossilized forms of algae. Scientists have recently hypothesized that life on Earth was first carried here on just such a meteorite. Debate over the origin of the algae continues. Not really. They kind of decided it was that's bullshit. Anyway, number 6, the Piri Reis map. The Piri Reis map is a Turkish map dating from 1513. It features a remarkably accurate depiction of the eastern coast of North and South America, despite the Ottoman Empire having undertaken no real exploration of the Americas. It is thought that Piri Reis, the man who made the map, used a now lost map from Christopher Columbus. Wow. It's pretty cool. There's only 5 more. Y'all good for it? I'm gonna blast
it. Hit us
up.
Yeah. Blast it.
The Fetter Lane Horde, number 5. There's a well-documented history of Roman England, so it's not unusual for a stray coin to turn up in the UK now and then. A whole horde of Roman coins used only in Egypt but found in London, however, is a surprise. The coins first discovered in 1908 were minted in Alexandria and had no value outside the city. Maybe someone was going on holiday. Number 4, the Women of Seine. The body of a young woman was pulled from the Seine River in Paris in the 1880s. While they never discovered who she was or just what led to her death, replicas of her serene, pallid face became an extremely popular art piece in French homes. Young women even styled their hair and makeup after the unknown Woman of Seine. Her face was now spread around the world. Hers is the face CPR dummies' faces are modeled on. To this day, no one knows who the young woman was, even though her face is one of the best known in history.
Shut the fuck up. Did you just tell me the origin of the CPR dummy that we all made out? I mean, saved in lifeguard class?
Number 3, the London
Hammer. The first
Hammer.
woman I ever kissed.
Oh my God.
You said CPR dummy, and for a second I first thought crash test dummy. Like, why are people modeling themselves up to that?
That seems
face?
fucked up. Yeah. Number 3, the London Hammer. Not just the name of
the superhero or the artifact.
Not just the name of a DJ anymore.
Yeah, he's the only British porn star.
In 1936, a couple walking along Red Creek in London, Texas, found a wooden shaft protruding from a loose rock along a hillside. When the rock was broken open, it revealed an iron hammer head attached to the handle that had somehow gotten into a 400 million year old rock. Though archaeologists are skeptical of the London Hammer's authenticity, Christian creationists have latched onto the artifact as proof of a pre-flood society that coexisted with dinosaurs. You go, Christianity. Get fucking crazy with it.
I was watching Noah, starring the singer Russell Crowe.
Mm.
And
I saw you tweeting about it. It was fascinating.
I got distracted halfway through. I'll finish it up. I'll rewatch the second half. But yeah, that industrious civilization, man, they have so many hammers. Like, it is a big thing for Christianity, to this symbology of like, no, they had tools. They had a lot of tools before.
Yeah, it says the London Hammer is now on display at the Creation Evidence Museum in Texas. Deep in the fart of Texas. Number 2, the Shroud of Turin, also debunked. The famous Shroud of Turin is supposedly the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. Its ghostly bearded face is perhaps the most famous holy relic in the Christian world. It has been tested again and again, with some researchers claiming it's a hoax and others insisting on its authenticity, but never reaching a definitive conclusion. But now a new detail has been added to the mystery. According to researchers, Jesus had a hog.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. According to researchers at the Institute of Crystallography in Italy, the consistent bound of ferritin iron to creatinine occurs in human organism in a case of severe polytrauma.
okay.
In layman's terms, the blood on the shroud came from someone who had been tortured.
Who wasn't in Jerusalem Roman times? Like, that could be anyone's burial shroud.
And the number 1 artifact from Factinate.com that is strange and in a museum, Isleworth Mona Lisa.
Wait, what?
The Isleworth Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
In December 2014, the Arts House of the Old Parliament in Singapore displayed the Mona Lisa. No, not that one. This is a version of the Mona Lisa whose owners allege was painted by Da Vinci earlier than the famous portrait. While most have dismissed the claim, some historians have pointed out that Da Vinci would often paint parts of portraits, leaving his students to fill in the rest.
Yeah, that's a big thing now in art. A lot of big artists just do a little work and go, hey, assistant, just finish up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Notably Mr. Brainwash.
Mr. Brainwash. Mr.
Greatest
Brainwash.
artist of our generation.
All right. Well, that does it for artifacts. What did I call it? I should have called it artifacts and crafts.
It is now.
Arts and facts and crafts. This has been another segment of Shut Up. Gordon, just be quiet. Good work.